You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rokfin, Rumble, and all podcast platforms.
What was profound for me was when I experienced necromancy.
Tell us about it.
So this is when my psychic awarenesses were all coming online. Everything was popping in at everything. It had voices, visions, seeing things, everything. So I was driving down the street, going the wrong way. I saw this dog running down the street like a little chihuahua, and I love animals. So I pulled over really quick, and I was like, come here, little doggy. Like, I didn't want you. My dad used to pick up stray dogs, so I kind of have it in me. So I was like, come here, don't get hit by a car. And so the dog was like about 100 yards, 50, I don't know my distance, maybe 100 yards away. And I was like, come here. And I was telepathically connecting to this dog because I like to think I'm telepathic. And so I was calling the dog. He turned around and started coming straight towards me. And then like I heard a voice in my head be like, oh, watch out for the cars. And I was like, no, why did that come in there? And as soon as I heard that, the dog stopped. And then all of a sudden I realized we were in front of a 5-lane major road, California, the streets are huge. And all of a sudden there's cars. There weren't cars anywhere. And all of a sudden cars appeared. This dog, I was like, no, don't do it. And he looked at the street. He looked back at me. He looked at the street. He looked back at me. And I said, don't do it. The dog charged for the street. And I had to, he was about to get hit and get run over. And I went to go turn my head because I didn't want to look. And something turned my head and made me watch. And I watched this dog get hit by a car and get run over twice by 2 different cars.
Oh, wow.
When I walked over to him, his neck had been twisted 3 times. There was no life in this body. And then I hear a girl, and I'm standing in the middle of the street, and there's no cars all of a sudden. Where'd all the cars go? So all of a sudden, this teenager, she's like, oh my God, my dog. So she comes running out. She tells me, can you pick up my dog and bring it to the side of the sidewalk? I'm thinking, you want me to pick up your dog? So I ran to my car, I grabbed the baby blanket, and I grabbed the dog, and there was no cars anywhere. And I untwisted the dog's head a few times, laid him down. There was no life. There was no blood, no life. His eyes were wide open, tongue was out. And then something told me, put your hands on the dog. We put our hands on the dog. Then I hear this little boy come running, like 5 years old. Oh, my dog. So the boy sits down. I say, put your hands on the dog and pray. I don't know what told me to do that, but we just started praying on this dead dog. And I felt a heartbeat. And I didn't say anything. I said, pray harder. You could tell these people have never prayed in their life because they were putting everything into it. And all of a sudden, the dog's eyes started blinking. And I'm like, oh no. This is crazy. And the dog, so the little boy was by his head. The girl was in the middle. I was by his tail. So you're the tail, right? Where you are, and I'm the head. This dog picks his head up and like a snake comes right into my face. And he's looking at me like, what did you just do? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, are you okay? And he like shook his head like, whoo, and just kind of sat back. And I called 911. And 15 minutes later, this dog, I'm sitting with this dog. This dog had no signs of internal bleeding. He looked fine. He was like dazed and confused. Could have been a walk-in. I don't know what happened, but by the time I left, this dog was normal. And when I did my hypnosis session, I asked, what was that? And they said, when you call upon the angels for help, you're always asking for proof. So they wanted to show you that when you call upon them for help, they can intervene and then they will help you. But you have to ask every single time. And it wasn't me per se, but it was through me as a vessel. So I got to experience, and then I realized I had healing in my hands. I'm like, am I a healer? And then I found out, yes, I am. So,
well, you said you did a hypnosis session with someone else after? Someone was giving you a hypnosis session?
Yes. So a few years later, I ended up getting a hypnosis session, and I asked in my session, like, what happened? It was through Alba Wyman. She's phenomenal. I learned a lot from watching her videos. People should definitely check her out. She's got mad stories on there. Will change your life. And she did my hypnosis session in 2016. So maybe 6 years later. So I had to go through all kinds of stuff. I heard voices. I've seen things. I've had visions. I've had loss of time. I had 2 hours loss of time. The Syrians like to pick me up. And then in my hypnosis session, I found out when I tried to commit suicide, when I was gone for 3 days, the Syrians took me aboard their spaceship and adjusted my frequency and sent me back because we weren't spiritual enough in my family. And so that's what actually happened. I had my first abduction, I call it adjustment, when I was trying to take myself out. They were like, no, get back in the game. This is it. You can't. And so, yeah, I got a lot of confirmation in my hypnosis. It was crazy.
Did you have any other experiences with non-human intelligences?
I luckily, because when I was 3, I had saw the portal open. I think that was one Claire that I refused to open. I get scared from my own shadow. But in my dreams, I've encountered many things in my dreams, and most recently, I'm always on UFOs. Always. I think I was on one last night. And I'm a very lucid dreamer, and I fly in my dreams. And so they also said in my hypnosis that not only am I very psychic, but I'm also, I do a lot of work in my dream time, which we all do in our dream time. But that was where I got my confirmation. But luckily, no, I haven't seen anything like freaky. Luckily, I did see a UFO in California. As I was driving, I saw this gigantic UFO. It looked like the moon fell on top of us. It was so big. It was like the moon was right there. And I'm looking, I thought it was a spotlight, LA, that they travel over the highway. I'm looking, that's not moving. And I'm looking and I squint my eyes and I see a shadow behind this white moon. Looks like a moon. The shadow, and it's like faded circle, and there's little lights twirling around. And I was like, oh. And the guy that I was driving with had seen UFOs. So he was like, oh my God, roll the window down. Can we hear it? We couldn't hear nothing. We went around the tree, disappeared. In my hypnosis session, they said, she's always asking for proof. So we just wanted to show her for a moment, just for a few minutes. So if you want to, and I had been asking for 2 years to show me a UFO. Like, I yell at my guides, show me, show me, show me. And they did. They will show you. You have to ask for it.
Right on. I want to go back to this dog that miraculously came back to life. The people that were there with you and the dog's owner that was praying with you, what was their reaction after this happened?
They were so shocked and stunned. They were just, I don't think they've ever experienced anything like it. They were just surprised and shocked. And I didn't even ask who they were. I left and said goodbye. Like, I never followed up with them or anything, but the dog looked like it was going to live. I'm pretty sure that made a big impact in their life.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, throughout your experiences, you've also learned more about your own healing modalities?
I have, yes.
Tell us a little bit about them.
So I started to do Reiki after I became a yoga teacher. I thought it would be a good thing to learn because I was a healer and I felt like that was the path I was supposed to be on. And then I became an aura practitioner with hypnosis. So I've had Reiki done on me before, and I'm kind of funny about putting my hands on people. Maybe because I'm an empath and I'm very psychic. So I wasn't really comfortable with doing Reiki with the hands on. So I was praying for a new modality. And then my teacher, Rising Phoenix Aurora, came out with the class for aura hypnosis and raw Reiki, and I was like, I have to have this. And so what I like to do is, even though I can do distance Reiki, I like to work directly with the archangels. So in my sessions, when we do Reiki, I have the archangels come in, and so it's more profound.